Have you ever wondered what goes into making your favorite fizzy drink? Today, this beverage quenches the thirst of over 1.9 billion people every single day. From summer picnics to crowded parties, it is a global icon. But here is something that might surprise you. This worldwide phenomenon was not invented to quench thirst. It was invented to cure a headache. In 1886, an Atlanta pharmacist named John Pemberton concocted a unique elixir. It was a simple medical remedy. Just 2 years later, in 1888, Pemberton sold his secret recipe to an entrepreneur named Asa Candler for a mere $2,300. Candler took that headache remedy and turned it into the global empire we know today. Now that $2,300 recipe is the most guarded trade secret in American commerce. It is known by only 2 anonymous people within the entire company. The exact physical formula is locked inside a high-security vault at the World of Coca-Cola Museum in Atlanta. Visitors can only view the exterior. The vault itself is heavily fortified with a palm scanner, a numerical code pad, and a massive steel door. It sparks the imagination and perpetuates the mystique of this beloved beverage. But how do you mass-produce a secret? The ingredients of a Coke are printed right on the label. But the exact inclusion of its natural flavors, derived from a mysterious blend of botanicals and vegetables, remains a closely guarded secret. This beverage concentrate is the signature taste. So how does this prize formula get to the factory? You might imagine armored trucks and armed guards. Surprisingly, the secret syrup arrives simply on a forklift inside ordinary plastic jugs. It is the essence of the drink, but it is only a fraction of the formula. The reality is, Coca-Cola is approximately 90% water. At the plant, this water is sourced from on-site wells. It is thoroughly sanitized and pushed through a meticulous nanofiltration process. This ensures absolute purity, guaranteeing that every single bottle delivers the exact same crisp, refreshing taste. Once the water is perfected, it meets the secret syrup in a mixing unit. Then, precise amounts of sweeteners are added. This is where the products divide. High fructose corn syrup flows in for the classic Coca-Cola, while aspartame is chosen for Diet Coke and Coke Zero. This mixture of water, syrup, and sweetener is then pumped through an intricate system of pipes into a succession of batch tanks. The base is complete, but it is missing the one crucial element that brings it to life. The liquid base is perfectly blended, but it is completely flat. It needs the one element that brings it to life. The mixture flows into a mixing station known as the votator. Here, it meets its fizzy partner, pure carbon dioxide. This carbonator does a crucial job. It forcefully infuses the liquid with CO2 under high pressure. It is the exact mechanical process responsible for that satisfying hiss sound you hear when you crack open a cold drink. But trapping gas inside a liquid on a massive industrial scale requires strict discipline. The science of carbonation is highly volatile. If the liquid is too warm, it rejects the gas. The carbonation escapes, causing violent foaming on the assembly line and unstable bottles. To control this chaos, the factory relies on the discipline of temperature. Before reaching the filler, the entire syrup mixture is chilled and held at a highly precise 41 to 43 degrees Fahrenheit. This careful temperature control ensures the CO2 is locked deep within the liquid. It allows the high-speed machines to fill every single bottle perfectly to the brim without losing a single bubble. The fizz is trapped. Now they just need to seal it. Before a single drop of Coca-Cola enters a bottle, the factory does something counterintuitive. They label it. Empty bottles are flipped upside down, flushed with filtered water, and sent straight into a hot melt modular labeling machine. This ensures the iconic red and white branding is affixed with absolute precision on a dry surface. Next, high-tech inspection cameras scan the pristine bottles for microscopic cracks or improper seals. Any vessel that does not pass is immediately removed. Then comes the filling. Because the liquid is chilled to that precise 41 degrees, it flows rapidly without foaming over. The air is vacuumed out of the reservoir, and the exact volume of Coca-Cola is injected. Instantly, the bottles must be sealed before the carbonation escapes. For plastic bottles, caps fly down a chute, propelled by compressed air, and are twisted on tight. For the classic glass bottles, a heavy mechanical press crimps an aluminum crown securely over the top. Aluminum cans go through an equally rigorous process. A dedicated seamer seals the metal, and high-speed cameras check for the slightest misaligned seams or accidental spills. The drinks are now ice cold and fully sealed. But if they were boxed right now, condensation would soak and destroy the cardboard packaging. So the factory employs one last trick. The cold bottles travel through a massive warmer, bringing them safely back to room temperature. They will not sweat. They are dry, perfect, and ready to be packed. The drinks are sealed, perfectly tempered, and dry. Now begins a massive, high-speed game of robotic Tetris. Cardboard is unwound directly from massive reels cut to the exact length and wrapped around the bottles using pre-folded clips. Then, they are heavily shrink-wrapped. A plastic film is applied and blasted with heat, creating a tight, tamper-proof seal for transit. Cans are packed into perfectly sized boxes with the same extreme precision, minimizing any movement. From here, automated systems take over. Advanced machines, known as My Own Boss robots, organize the pallets. They calculate the exact geometry needed to maximize space, securely stacking the cases until every pallet is perfectly balanced. Millions of these pallets are loaded onto trucks every single day, heading to distribution centers and eventually to your hands. In 1888, Asa Candler paid just $2,300 for a simple headache remedy. He had no idea he was purchasing the blueprint for one of the most complex, efficient, and sprawling logistical machines in human history. They didn't just invent a fizzy drink, they invented a global supply chain. That's the process. We reveal how things actually work, one story at a time. If there's something you'd like us to explore next, let us know. Until then, trust the process.